Hi, Samuel J here. Just wanted to make this quick video and show you how to optimize your iframes. So obviously we're in the forum. We get a page creator, iframe, and now we all know by now that link to offer is the site that we want to frame, whether it's an affiliate offer or not. And so just grab my URL that I want to frame, and then grab my actual URL, paste him in there. Now I'm not going to fill in the username and password because I'm actually putting this in a subdirectory, sorry, not a subdirectory, an add-on domain, so don't worry that I'm not putting in the username and password here. You will probably do that. I'm just going to download it as a zip. Now my keyword is usually going to be your domain when you're making an iframe, but not always. Whoops. I always like to bold these because it just looks a little bit sexier when you're looking at it in the search engine. Obviously you want to have your keyword in the description, so that is going to be the description tag that will show up in the search engines. Okay, so let's just type in our description with try to make it a little bit compelling. If you are wanting the best something along the lines of that, so that it makes sense. You've got your keywords in there and it looks attractive to click on. Okay, now our extra content is one I prepared earlier, or more like my assistant did. So we're just going to copy it if it's in a Word document and paste it in a notepad in a text document, because it'll remove all the formatting. Never post directly from Word, whether it's into WordPress or into the iframe tool, because there are other little bits of code behind the scenes that can really screw up your WordPress site, and they won't screw up your iframes. Actually, sometimes I've had that happen when I've pasted it directly from Word, but the main thing is it'll put other bits of formatting code there that Word uses, and you don't want to do that. So just paste it into your text document and then copy it back out to put in your iframe. Okay, so you can see my article writer's been very good. She's put the keyword down here and all the related keywords. You should always use the related keywords in your iframe and in any of your copy that you put on any of your sites for that matter. If you're not sure how to find your related keywords, you can always go to our friend Google here and just type in, scroll to the bottom, and searches related to your keyword. Grab those and then use those in your in your document. The other thing is you can go to Google Keyword Tool, and do the same thing. So you can see here, sorted by relevance. So that means the ones up the top are going to be most relevant to the keyword that you typed in. So you want to use at least half a dozen of these keywords. Don't overuse them, just smatter them throughout your documents when you're optimizing your site. Okay, so we can delete those, we don't need them anymore. I usually like to get rid of that if my team has written a nice heading for me. I just destroy it instantly and just use the one, our main keyword, as the heading. Now we're going to make this our H1 tag, so what we do is do a back arrow, H1 forward arrow, and then we want to close it off by back arrow / H1 forward arrow. Okay, now wherever our keyword is, our main keyword is, we want to use bold, italic and underline. Use it sparingly, don't go over the top, otherwise it'll be quite obvious that you're trying to game the search engines. So let's start off with the bold. What we want to do is back arrow, strong forward arrow, and then back arrow, strong forward arrow. You always want to make sure you close off your HTML tags, otherwise you end up with problems. Okay, and we can put some sort of formatting in here. It's not really formatting, but it just makes it look a little bit more real. And say for this one we want to use an underline, we can do back arrow U forward arrow, back arrow / U forward arrow. And if we want to use an italic to tell the search engines this is italic, then we just use an I. Oops. Just like that. So we want to bold, italic and underline our main keyword and also one or two related keywords. Wherever we've got a paragraph break and a new subheading, you should always use subheadings in your content and use your H2 to H6 tags. And so basically it's just exactly the same thing, but we use H2 instead of H1. Back arrow / H2 forward arrow. And we'll make a H3 down here. And you just go through and drop in some drop in your H tags, your underline, your italic and your bold. Okay, one thing to note, before when I did with my H1 tag, I deleted it and I made my H1 just the keyword. You don't want to do that for your H2 and H3, H4, 5, 6. You don't want to do that. Your keyword density for your H tags will be way too high. So you want to have other words in there as well with your H2s and H3s, etc. The other thing worth mentioning is your link building to the iframe or to any of your content on any WordPress sites. You want to build links with those related keywords that we found before as well, not just your main keyword. And so we're pretty much done here. The only thing is my analytics for this page, but I haven't set that analytics account up for this site yet, so I'm going to come back to it at a later stage. So then we would just publish it or save it, whatever we're going to do. And that's about it. The only other thing that I do want to show you is this little piece of code here, which I got off my mate Steve Ovens. And what this basically does is it redirects the non-WW version to the WW version. So like we mentioned before, you want to have it you want to have all your sites on the WW version. And I'll post this little bit of code underneath the video. But what you want to do is copy this bit of code. You want to change your URL here and here, and then you want to take it and go into your cPanel, find your HT access file and drop it in there. And then whenever you go to the non-WW version of the domain, it should redirect you to the WW version. That's important because you don't want the search engines indexing two different versions of your site. So if you don't have that redirect in place, for example, Google will come along and then say, well, there's two sites that have got the same content and they look very similar here, and so that's no good for obvious reasons. So you always want to use this little redirect here in your HT access file once you've put your iframe up. If you follow the little tips here, your iframes will perform a lot better in your search engine results. And so I hope that's been helpful. Enjoy!